Welcome to our exploration of JavaScript array methods. We'll cover each method in detail, understanding their functionalities and practical applications. Let's start with the basics and progressively move to more advanced methods. In this session, we'll cover every array method from toString to array.from. Each method will be explained with practical examples that you can use in your daily coding. The toString method is one of the simplest array methods. It converts an array to a string with each element separated by commas. Notice it doesn't change the original array, it returns a new string. This is particularly useful when you need a quick string representation of your array. The join method is similar to toString, but with more flexibility. It allows you to specify a custom separator between elements. If no separator is specified, it defaults to a comma. The empty string separator is particularly useful when you want to concatenate array elements without any characters between them. The pop method removes and returns the last element of an array. This is a mutating method. It changes the original array by removing the last element. Think of it like taking the top item off a stack of plates. This is commonly used in stack implementations where you need LIFO, last in, first out, behavior. Push adds one or more elements to the end of an array and returns the new length. Like pop, this is a mutating method. It's very versatile as you can add multiple elements at once. This is commonly used when you need to add new items to a collection, like adding new tasks to a to-do list. Shift removes and returns the first element from an array. This causes all other elements to shift down one index. This method is commonly used in queue implementations where you need FIFO, first in, first out, behavior. It's like taking the first person out of a line, everyone else moves forward one spot. Unshift adds one or more elements to the beginning of an array and returns the new length. This causes all existing elements to shift up one index. Think of it as adding people to the front of a line, everyone else has to take one step back. This is useful when you need to prioritize new items in a list. The delete operator removes an element from an array but leaves an undefined hole in that position. Unlike other array methods, this is actually an operator, not a method. It's generally not recommended for arrays as it creates sparse arrays. Instead, methods like splice or filter are preferred as they maintain array consistency. Concat combines two or more arrays by appending them in sequence. It creates a new array without modifying any of the original arrays. This is useful when you need to merge multiple arrays into a single array while keeping the originals intact. Think of it like joining multiple trains into one longer train. The sort method sorts elements in an array alphabetically or numerically. It's important to note that by default, sort converts elements to strings and sorts them. For numbers, you often need a compare function to sort correctly. The method modifies the original array. It's one of JavaScript's mutating methods. Splice is an incredibly versatile method that can modify an array by removing, replacing, or adding elements. It takes a starting index, a count of elements to remove, and any number of elements to insert. This is like performing surgery on an array. You can cut out a section and stitch in new elements. Slice extracts a portion of an array without modifying it. Think of it like taking a photo of part of your array. You get a copy of that section while the original remains unchanged. The first parameter is the starting index, and the second, optional, parameter is the end index, not included in the result. Reverse flips the order of elements in an array. This method modifies the original array, it doesn't create a new one. It's like taking a stack of books and flipping it over. Very useful when you need to process items in reverse order or change the direction of a sequence. Array.isArray is a static method that helps you determine whether a value is an array. Unlike typeof, which returns object for arrays, this method specifically identifies arrays. This is particularly useful when you need to validate input types or handle different data structures differently in your code. Index of searches for an element in an array and returns its first index. The second parameter is optional and specifies where to start searching. If the element isn't found, it returns -1. This is like using Ctrl+F in a document, it finds the first occurrence of what you're looking for. Last index of works like index of, but searches from right to left. It finds the last occurrence of an element in an array. The method takes an optional starting position for the search. This is particularly useful when you need to find the most recent instance of an element in your array. Find returns the first element that satisfies the provided testing function. It stops searching once it finds a match. This is like having a list of items and picking out the first one that meets your criteria. Very useful when you need to locate a specific item based on certain conditions. FindIndex is similar to find, but returns the index instead of the value. It returns -1 if no element passes the test. This method is particularly useful when you need the position of an element rather than the element itself, perhaps for later manipulation of the array. Includes checks if an array contains a specific element and returns true or false. It's a simpler alternative to index of, when you just need to check existence rather than position. This method is case-sensitive for strings and uses strict equality comparison for all types. Entries returns an array iterator object containing key/value pairs for each index in the array. This is particularly useful when you need both the index and value during iteration. Think of it as getting a numbered list where each item comes with its position. Every tests whether all elements in the array pass the test implemented by the provided function. It returns true only if every single element passes the test. This is like a universal check, one failure means the entire test fails. Perfect for validation when you need all items to meet certain criteria. The sum method tests if at least one element passes the provided test. Unlike every, which requires all elements to pass, sum returns true if just one element meets the criteria. It's like asking, does anyone in the group meet this requirement? The fill method fills specified elements in an array with a value. It can fill the entire array or a specific portion. Think of it like filling a series of containers with the same content. The start and end parameters are optional, letting you target specific sections of the array. Copy within copies part of an array to another location within the same array. It's like taking a section of your array and making an internal copy of it elsewhere in the same array. This is a complex but powerful method for rearranging elements within an array. Value of returns the array itself. It's rarely used explicitly as JavaScript automatically calls it when needed. Think of it as getting a reference to the original array, it returns the same array, not a copy. This method is inherited from object.prototype. For each executes a provided function once for each array element. It's like having a personal assistant who performs the same task on each item in your list. Unlike map, it doesn't create a new array, it just executes the function for each element. Map creates a new array with the results of calling a function for every array element. Unlike for each, map returns a new array without modifying the original. It's perfect for transforming data, like converting temperatures from Celsius to Fahrenheit for every value in an array. The filter method creates a new array filled with elements that pass a test function. It's like having a sieve that only lets through items meeting your criteria. Each element is tested, and only those that return true are included in the new array. Reduce executes a reducer function on each element, resulting in a single value. Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill, accumulating snow. Each element contributes to the final result. The method works from left to right through the array. ReduceRight works exactly like reduce, but processes the array from right to left. This direction can make a big difference when your operation isn't commutative, like subtraction or division. It's like reading a book from back to front, you'll get a different experience. Array.from creates a new array from an array-like or iterable object. It's a powerful way to convert various things into proper arrays. Common uses include converting strings into arrays of characters, or converting node lists from DOM queries into arrays that can use array methods. We've covered all major array methods in JavaScript, from basic operations like push and pop to more complex operations like reduce and map. Remember that some methods mutate the original array while others return new arrays. Choose the appropriate method based on whether you want to modify the original array or create a new one. Understanding these methods is crucial for effective array manipulation in JavaScript.